Hi, folks. It's Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. Uh, at least better than Jory Reid. She got the bomb dropped on her, and we got so much stuff going on. It's showing how we got a big shift going in worldwide consciousness. Really, I was going to say national consciousness, but actually, it's going around the world. Big election in Germany, and it's just like Marco Rubio said. He said, "I don't need to meet with Schultz. He's not going to be around anyway," and that was exactly right. So the ruling party got their rear ends handed to them, and the ADF came in second place, which is they call it the far right. But at the same time, there I saw videos of, I got to watch what I'm saying, pieces of paper people used to choose their leaders were getting shredded and destroyed. And somebody apparently got a video of that undercover. So who knows what that'll be. But it's still the Liberal Party pretty much got wiped out in the elections in Germany. So yeah, things are happening. Todd, how you doing? Ronald says the View will hire her. Watch and see. I don't know. I don't know about that. The View is looking at lawsuits, and but the Sunny Host, who's going to fall next on the View? Sunny Hostin, and maybe they will put her in there because there's only so many lunatic women out there, and they've cornered the market. So, Benjamin, how you doing? Wayne, nice to see you. And thank you again, Wayne, for going by buy me a coffee. It didn't have your name on it, just said someone. But then I go a couple more clicks, I find out it's Wayne. So thank you so much. I got a link in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. David, how you doing? Sissy, Robin, nice to see you, Doc. KNS Cleanup. Gloria, let's see. Rick, nice to see you. Marie, Flannel Cheese, Miss Mendersue, nice to see you. So, I haven't heard anybody report on. It would take a lot of time, but for somebody in my situation. But I pick up these scraps in my memories. Joe Rogan suing. Trump suing. Elon is suing. We need a slander watch. How many of these stations are getting sued for big money? Because here's one I didn't even know of, or I may have heard of it and then, dropped off the radar. MSNBC, $30 million defamation disaster. And there was this doctor minding their own business, I guess. And Rachel Madcow had a guest on where they're talking about women at the border not being treated right and all this kind of stuff. And they had a doctor, they called him the uterus collector. I guess it's supposed to be a play on bone collector. That he was somehow, they were insinuating that he was abusing women and doing hysterectomies that, weren't necessary, or, they was some kind of evil doctor. I mean, what kind of image can you get from the term uterus collector? So he sued him for $30 million. And it turned out he did do 2 hysterectomies, only 2, at the border. And it was one of the women had cancer, and that was what they had to do to stop it. So he saved a migrant's life. I don't know if he was doing pro bono or, I'm sure we paid for it. But yeah, he's like, well, you ain't doing that to me. You're not going to go out in front of the world and slander me. So they say that they reached a settlement with this doctor, and the judge handling the case has got to approve it. But word on the street is that the judge doesn't care for this treatment that they did for this doctor. So I'm trying to see. So, well, anyway, what the story is that if the judge doesn't approve it, you know, they might have to go to court or bump their money up. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's one that, you know, how much can MSNBC survive? There's only so many $30 million lawsuits you can lose or settle. But did you notice that when Trump was given one of his many addresses, he's at CPAC, he's at the governor's luncheon, and then at a dinner, and but he said MSNBC was a problem. An enemy of the people is what he used, that term again, but he said it specifically about MSNBC, and he brought up Rachel Madcow's name. Hi, Angela, how you doing? Kathy, how you doing? So probably Rubber Toe, how you doing? She Rachel Madcow was thinking it was going to be her, and then whop, there goes Joy Reid. You know, and these people are incompetent. They have no skills. She could have gone work for the government. No one would have noticed under the Biden administration and been set for life like so many of these hundreds of thousands of cronies and operatives that have been discovered to be working for the government that are getting thrown out. But now, maybe the View is a shelter from the storm. I don't know. Like Todd brought up earlier, but I don't think they can afford. I told a story a long time ago about a guy who had a fella come up to him and said, "Hey, you don't talk to me anymore, and I thought we were friends." And my friend looked at this guy and said, "Well, I can't afford you as a friend." Something happened monetarily, and he cut his ties with this individual, and he just told him, "I can't afford you as a friend. We're not friends anymore. You're too expensive." So maybe that's going to be the case with Joy Reid. Who other than the government or a government entity could afford? Now, that brings up an interesting question. Now they come up, they don't have an audience. How is their income being directed? These things are all going to be looked at. Are there advertisers subsidized by U.S. aid and other governmental organizations or non-governmental organizations that feed off of government programs? So, we know it's not just U.S. aid. That was just a primer. We're seeing this $2 billion going to Stacey Abrams. That was from EPA money, Environmental Protection Agency. What the hell? And so much more they got to go look at too. Yeah, Dan Bongino getting. Hi, Melinda. How you doing? Dan Bongino got the. I got the report in my studio. Got Assistant Director of the FBI. Big congratulations from Mr. T. Oh, really, Todd? Bob Menendez's daughter. Worms in a clump of dirt. So, yeah, who's paying for all these losses that they're incurring? This slander. Elon Musk put out he reposted on Twitter, libs of TikTok, USAID's Haiti scandal is staggering. I mean, with all this stuff going on, we knew about Haiti. We knew about the Clintons in Haiti. Trump brought up the Clinton scam in Haiti. And don't forget, a senator in Haiti that complained about the grift and the hundreds of millions or $1 billion. I think it was $5 billion in aid. And anyway, he lost his life mysteriously. Remember that? I wonder if we'll get to that. But anyway, he's bringing it up again. USAID scandal is staggering. The U.S. spent, $4.4 billion after the 2010 earthquake. Yet less than 2% reached Haitians, while 56% lined the pockets of D.C. firms. Which firms? Which firms? Anyone? Firms? You mean law firms? We're going to be finding out a lot. The Red Cross claimed to shelter 130,000 people, but built just 6 homes. No transparency, no accountability. That's still sticking with USAID, but now we're getting into the Red Cross. Remember we seen boxes with the Red Cross symbol on it? Somebody popped the top open, there was a bunch of cash in them. Where is that, Iraq? So anyway, hi, Lone Wolf, how you doing? Anyway, so we see Elon Musk put up again, as many have said, why pay terrorist organizations in certain countries to hate us when they're perfectly willing to do it for free? And that's because James Jeanette of Doge posted, are you ready to have your mind blown? USAID had given a total of, wait for it, $164,749,304.99 to terrorist-linked organizations. $165 million. Good thing Doge came along and discovered this insanity. And they have the charts and the receipts to prove it. And that's just from USAID. What are we going to find out about these other agencies, like the EPA? A slush fund. They called it a slush fund. So anyway, we got Joy Reid, we got Germany, the German government collapsing. We got Zelensky saying he would step down if they can join NATO, which will never happen, never. And Elon put out the notice, give me 5 things you did last week. 5 points. And they're all freaking out over it. Trump saying again, we're going to open the doors at Fort Knox. Coming soon. He said, I don't know what we're going to do if there's ain't no gold in there. I was telling a friend of mine, my plumber Intel, I was saying, I think he's giving a heads up, giving a couple of weeks to figure out something, get something in those vaults, right? So then you got the more and more on the so-called news agencies, they're having to address this restitution checks. I heard one guy called restitution. Trump referred to it as dividend checks. And I said in an earlier broadcast, I don't know what they're going to call it. I said, but look for it. I said that before Elon and his, the people suggested it. I said, look for it. And sure enough, here it is. So they're having to do a 2-step about that, because let me tell you something. if there is something tangible hitting the hands of the people, good faith money, that's what I'll call it. Good faith money back to the people from the government, to the people they stole it from. The Dems will never recover. Never. Never. And then Bongino getting put on as assistant director. He knows where the like Flynn knows where the bodies are buried. RFK did a speech about transparency in the Department of Health, the agency itself, and saying you won't even need FOIA requests anymore. We're going to post everything we're doing. And thankfully, he referred to not only addressing the physical health, but the spiritual health of our nation. Something that we've got to focus on that too. We have too many kids being raised in hopelessness and helplessness. I'll call them the two H's: hopelessness and helplessness. And no, how can you succeed? How can you be driven? How can you be motivated? How can you learn to take care of yourself? Which a lot of the hundreds of thousands of these government workers are going to have to learn how to do. They're going to learn how to take care of themselves. They're going to have to learn how to have a boss. I guarantee just about everybody in the chats right now, and me, I had plenty of bosses. All right. They called it work for a reason. It wasn't play. And yeah, they're going to figure out what to do. What do they spend their time? We're going to find out that they spent their time mostly being a mouthpiece for the DNC and the cabal. Okay, spend their time on computers, piddling around at Occupy Democrats, Keith Olbermann, all these other losers that I've told you about. And yeah, that's all going to get cut off because they won't have time to do it. Okay, put the fries in the bag, or wait a minute, you missed a spot, or give me a wipe down, sweep, and mop in the restrooms. Okay, remember that, folks. Remember that. Your boss, your BOSS. I need you to pick up around the parking lot. Okay, drop what you do and go out and pick up, make the parking lot look good. Yes, sir. So they've never had to do that. So we're going to see a rise. You know, there are a lot of illnesses that are hard to see, that are real. Neurological illnesses, fibromyalgia, psychological illnesses, all those invisible illnesses. You're going to see a lot of people doing searches. How can I act like I've got this? Or I got restless leg jitters and a twitching thrombosis in my fornicular, whatever that means. Trying to get on disability because they don't want to work. They don't know how to work. So that's why I found it encouraging that RFK was talking about the psychological well-being and the spiritual well-being of our nation. Because the natural course of events, you see a beautiful sunrise, you hear the birds sing, it's really nice out. You want to get out there. You want to do something. You don't want to sit in your house and grow roots in the couch. But that's what so many people have been doing. And then being unfulfilled psychologically and spiritually. And you can't have a vacuum. Instead of having fulfillment and a positive outlook, you end up with anger and psychological finger pointing. And then people have getting diarrhea of the keyboard on the internet. And like-minded people get together. Next thing you know, they're like a bunch of Zizians running around. Like I said, well, what's the big deal? What makes them so unusual from the rest of the weirdos we got? They claim they're different gender, and they're vegans. Hell, that's half the government. That makes me think about these eggs being stolen. You know, they're showing videos of people fighting over eggs. Have you ever? You know what? Think of something else to have for breakfast, okay? Have a bowl of cream of wheat with some melted butter and cinnamon. All right? Think of something different in life till they can replace the 100 million chickens the Biden administration called. Excuse me, I have a sip of my coffee. Have a bowl of Captain Crunch. Anyway, and that brought me to where I was saying, you know, why would people steal tractor trailer loads of eggs, when cigarettes or anything of that size and volume of a package is worth more? And I use cigarettes because that was a big score whenever you got a tractor trailer load of cigarettes. You think about it, the size of a carton of cigarettes is smaller than eggs. It's not perishable. And a carton of cigarettes is going for $70, more than that in some states. So why are they stealing eggs? The stupidest thing, that they're perishable. Aha! These wild-eyed vegans, not your regular vegans, the ones who call fish puppies of the sea, the ones who won't even drink milk or spread butter on their toast, eggs is off limits. So they would take them somewhere and try to hatch them, knowing that bunch of weirdos, or just let them rot and be glad of it. How many times have we seen these eco-terrorists? You know what that means, terrorists. Drilling holes in truck tires to stop oil, damaging property, trying to derail trains, destroying artwork. What's breaking some eggs, you know? So that reminded me, these photos of people fighting over trays of eggs. And when you think, I used to eat 4 eggs a day, roughly, you know, sometimes not that many, but, you know, I was a big boy, and fry them up in the pan with butter and heavy bacon and everything. Boy, that's good. Just no problem. But I bet you a lot of these people are freaking out and going out and fighting over eggs people always want what they can't have. You make people think they can't have it, then they're going to want it. How many eggs did they eat before they're out here making idiots of themselves fighting over eggs? What's the chances either one of you are going to walk away from it with eggs that aren't cracked or busted up? But it reminds me of the toilet paper. The toilet paper, how ridiculous people were over the toilet paper situation. So is this the same playbook of psychological warfare that they pulled on the toilet paper as they're doing with the eggs? I think so. They said it takes about 21 weeks. 21 weeks to get from a chick to a pullet to a laying hen. A pullet is, you know, juvenile chicken running around as opposed to a chick. It can't lay yet. I had a friend who used to call his kids pullets. I got to round up my pullets. About 5 or 6 kids, they all running around. But so it's 21 weeks. So they destroyed all those chickens because eggs were cheap before the Biden administration. And they did that about a week before Trump took office, maybe 10 days. Well, let's call it a week. And Trump's been in office for 6 weeks. We got a little over 2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks. And egg production will be going back up, and prices of eggs will be going back down. So, yeah, we all know it was done to push a scare. At first, it was done to push a scare about bird flu going to human beings. Reports, we read them right here on this channel. One person supposedly passed away, but 60 others got sick. That's why you're going to kill 100 million chickens. So I'm sure that's being checked out too, but it is something that's recoverable. And that's why I don't think Trump's making a big deal of it. I think he's going to leave that up to people like us, and discussion groups and various interweb sites to point out the fact that it was done to, first of all, to try to start something else like the COVID-19. And I had a post from Bobby Kennedy from over a year ago, about 2 years ago, where he said it was man-made, done on purpose. And I'm sure he'll bring that up again when more evidence comes out, because it's all tied into Ukrizzle and things like that. And then it went from the bird flu scare to harming Trump's chances of turning the economy around by attacking a staple food item. Hi, Justin Bean. Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. About Canada and Mexico. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. How you doing? Wanda's here. Melinda's here. How you doing? Debbie's here. Angela's here. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Yeah, Canada's got plenty of eggs, and Mexico's got plenty of eggs. So there'll be a rebound. And I'm sure that who's the Secretary of Agriculture? I'm sure Trump's going to ring their bell and say, look, help these poultry farmers out to recover from that attack. That was an attack on our food supply, our supply chain. Hi, Greg. How you doing? Oh, are they really, Sherry? How you doing? Are they really going to try to do a jab on the bird? I got a lot of friends that families that raise eggs, farmers. I haven't heard that they're going to do something like that. If I felt like, hi, Kathy, if I felt like taking a drive, I could get all the eggs I want pretty cheap. Free range. So a lot of these local places, at least where I'm at, farmers, they didn't get impacted. And if you feed chickens right and keep them happy, stress free, and good food and water supply, or guard goose, or a big couple of big roosters, keep them safe. They'll lay a lot. So let's see. Yeah, Melinda, they need to leave our food alone, but they don't. They need to leave us alone, but they can't. They can't. It's people are going to learn a hard lesson that you can't trust. You can't trust these damn people. It's like they were telling on themselves. They were saying Trump putting pressure on Zelensky about minerals is like the Sopranos, trying to get something out of somebody, which is an asinine and ridiculous comparison to make. Trump is not going to somebody innocent and trying to squeeze money out of them. He's trying to find a way for them to pay back our damn money. And that we paid, and that's owed to us, and it's lowered our quality of life, the value of our dollar, printing up that money to ship over there. Something they've never utilized. They've never utilized their rare minerals. And there's plenty other places we can get rare minerals. The Congo communicated that they would give the U.S. exclusive rights if Trump would help with the conflict between Congo and Rwanda, and those, I'll say the word radical, and I'll separate the other word so I won't get in trouble, Muslims that were Rwanda is, the Congo is where those 70 Christians, okay, remember that? So it's not like the thing he's doing is doing Zelensky and company a favor by getting them to think about their resources they can use for the good of their people. So their people could get dividend checks instead of these principalities that have been around for over 1,000 years, just squeezing the lifeblood out of people and hoarding everything for themselves, kind of like gold, So, but the thing people are learning, and I'm going to use The Sopranos as an example, but many of you heard me talk about Michael Franzese in the past. I've watched him. There are plenty of other mafia stories around before The Sopranos, believe you me. Every place they could shave, skim, steal, extort, every place they could do it, they did, like termites. And it's not because they were Italians. It's not because now it's a Russian mafia or different groups, gangs. It's because they're freaking criminals. And it's like a friend of mine that dealt with a lot of people that were drug addicts. They look at everybody's house they visit, or every yard they can see inside the garage, or what they have in their driveway. They look at it all as potential profit. Potential. They don't think of it as theft. They think about it as something that belongs to them. They just got to figure out how to get it without getting caught. That's the same mentality that goes on with all these agencies And the bad part that we reach, so society reaches, is when they got all this money on the table, more than they need, and they start thinking up ways to spend it, whether they need to spend it or not. They have no concept of time as far as if somebody puts an application for permission for something from these people. They don't care that you're waiting around. They don't care. We've got extra money. Should we giving it back has never enters their mind. Never even crosses their mind. How can we spend this? Because we are so smart. There's got to be a problem out there that we can solve with this money that we haven't thought of yet. My niece needs a job, for one. Remember when I told that story about Marion Barry, the DC mayor, Mayor for Life? I told a story 2 years ago how he got caught having crack, and he had his girlfriend who was setting him up. Remember that famous saying, "You set me up." He used the B word. Well, that was a typical. At the time I said it, it was one of the mayor's side squeezes. He put her in a 6-figure a year job that just created out of thin air. Thin air. And that was rampant. And I said, that was the mayor of DC, basically a local situation. And I said, it's going on around all over the country, all over the place. You ever notice how you run into some families? My wife works for so-and-so department. I work for this department. And my son is getting a job over at that department. They're all somehow getting into the bureaucratic clique as a way of life. What in the world? What in the world are they going to do? You know, and I don't care. I don't really give a damn. They got to do like everybody else. Figure out how they're going to take care of themselves. Where can they contribute? Where can they earn $1? I told a story about a lady that ran her own hairstyling. I used to go in there and get my hair cut. And she was like, people taking sleeping pills, I guess it was when whatever pill came around that had a butterfly. And she's like, you know, she had a TV going, you're sitting there getting your hair cut, you look the Weather Channel or TV or whatever. And she said, whatever happened to where you just go to sleep and get a really good night's sleep because you got a lot done, and you were physically tired from the things you did that day. You didn't need it, and you have a pleasant good night's rest. And you don't need it then. You don't need that butterfly medicine. If you get out and move your arms and legs around, do something. I'm just looking through the chats. Oh, did JFK get a haircut while he was in Dealey Plaza? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm talking about beforehand. You know, a guy who won a lawsuit where he had to get a permission. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of crap like that going on. They protect themselves. They protect themselves. I could write a book. And you know, this is great. This is happening at the federal level. But we've got to get these states straightened out. These states are just as bad. Remember, and I asked, if you all remember, about 20 years ago, 20 to 25 years ago, right in that range, I know a lot of small towns and communities, they all of a sudden, within a compressed time period of a matter of years, all of them ended up trading out their town halls, their health departments, or whatever they had going on. They're not their state offices, their town localities, and building themselves a brand new temple. I call them temples. And your parents, if your parents grew up in the area, or you did too, you'll probably remember the old town office. And it's gone, you know. A lot of times it was a nice big house they converted into into office space, and you could go in there and take care of your town business. The town council or parish or whatever would have their meetings in there, or go to the school and have their meetings. But all of a sudden, they all got millions of dollars and get their 10 to 12-foot ceilings and their brick columns and brand new luxurious office space all around the country. Because what that does, it makes the bureaucratic class attractive as a place to work. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel powerful. It makes them, well, they get downright uppity. And that's how you cement the bureaucratic class. Oh, good. Mary, that's good news right there. Mary said Kash Patel names Matt Gaetz special prosecutor to investigate Hunter Biden dealing with Ukraine. So, yeah, I knew Matt Gaetz wasn't going to be on the sidelines throughout this stuff. And anyway, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Going to be fun to watch. I'm sure Jim Jordan has got a game plan laid out for that. Breaking: New York City sues Trump administration over $80 million funding clawback. So she did file. Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul has got prison riots breaking out. Have you all heard about that? Have you seen anything on the old media, the old news? That's what I'm going to call. I said I was going to call them old news because they are old news. About the cutbacks they've had to do with their COs, correctional officers in New York prisons. Well, they're so short staffed that the prisoners have rioted and taken control in some instances, and other instances she called the National Guard in to work as prison guards. That's mismanagement. We don't use the National Guard for labor disputes and mismanagement. I mean, the millions New York has already handed out to be a sanctuary city in violation of federal law. Now they don't have enough money to pay their corrections officers, and the prison system is under a lot of stress and strain. There are riots, right, or there were riots today at prisons And that's even after they let half of them walk. They don't even put them in jail. So that, it's misfeasance and putting these young National Guard people in foreign uh, environment. They, how are you supposed to know how to run a prison? I mean, you gotta feed prisoners. You gotta keep them from fighting. You gotta keep them from smuggling stuff in. You know, all kinds of stuff. That's not what you get trained for in the National Guard. Prisons are a whole different society, really. And each prison has its own pecking orders and way of operating. And that needs to be busted up and standardized. It really does. Yeah, Ronald, we could go over the JFK thing. We're going to hear a lot about that. Allen Dulles, Castro, the mob, Teamsters. So anyway, so she has this prison business going on, but then she's suing the Trump administration to reclaim $80 million. The lawsuit filed in Southern District of New York names Trump Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem as defendants. Mayor Adams calls the move an unlawful money grab, while the Trump administration defends it as a reversal of sanctuary city funding. So it highlights the battle over ongoing federal state tensions over immigration policy. So is there anybody in the chat from the UK? Well, probably not, but I do have some people from the UK that watch because it's a big time difference. Big time difference. So I think there's 7 hours ahead, or no, I don't know. I can't remember. But this is a weird article. Well, could be coming here. Manchester Evening News put out, Muslims demand locals don't walk dogs in public because it's a violation of Sharia and disrespects them. So apparently you can't walk your dog around certain areas where there's a high migrant population, because dogs offend them. In Manchester, pamphlets have been distributed by a group called Public Purity, demanding that Brits do not walk their dogs in public as they are considered impure in the Islamic faith. That reminds me of Ilhan Omar. She likes her Sharia law. Sharia law. Thank you, Aracelis. How you doing? 5 hour differences. 4:05 a.m. in London right now. I hope they get rid of that garbage over there. Germany's rising up. Germany's rising up. And Trump brought up about what's going on in the UK, that it looks like Nigel Farage is going to be coming back. And they've already voted for Brexit in the UK. And that's got the European Union teetering. Now watch Germany. What would they call that? Jurix? Direxit? I don't know, but Germany isn't going to hang around that union. Germany is like traditionally been the case. They've been the firewall between the Near East and Europe, but they always get the short end of the stick in these arrangements. MSNBC cancels Joy Reid's Lefty show as network makes major shakeup. That's from the New York Post. You know, who could sit there and listen to that? I mean, the most vile, racist, libelous garbage would come out of that woman's mouth. And who could sit there and listen to that? I mean, I think most of her views were people trying to get content to make fun of. And, you know, the 15% of probably government workers with nothing better to do. So anyway, let's see. I can't wait to see the videos come out on that. Have you seen this character had a guy on CNN? A guy on CNN had somebody from Doge on his channel, on his program. Now, where do they find these people? They got rid of Jim Acosta. They got rid of Don Lemonhead, Jake Crapper, and now they got this new moron named Smirkonish. I never heard of him. I don't remember ever seeing his face. But he's all of a sudden the new know-it-all, the new preacher preaching to us about what we should do with Doge and Doge money. Did you see him have that where he told a guy, I don't want to have to cut your mic off. I'm not like that. But all of a sudden, I might download that video and do play it and comment on it. But every time I do a picture, every single time I get copyrighted. But hi, Andrew, how you doing? So he's saying, the guy from Doge says, well, we're thinking about giving 20% back to the people in the form of restitution checks. He used the term restitution, which I like better in this initial phase than dividend. I think the money from Doge savings, because like the great El Rushbo said, words mean things. The Doge checks should be called restitution because in some form or another, the theft that we're witnessing, this waste, fraud, and abuse, has cost every American through debasing the currency, causing high inflation, and increasing stress, and call that restitution money, partial restitution. Money from tariffs should be considered dividend. Okay, dividend checks. I would name them appropriately. See, because they play mind games with words. I always wondered, what the hell does a tax return mean? You have to file your tax return. Return? I didn't return it. I always got stuff taken from me. But they say, oh, it's a return. Oh, okay. No, name it. Call them what it is. So anyway, this moron is sitting there telling the Doge guy, we are too far in debt. We can't afford to give out 20%. How can you say that? We're $36 trillion in debt. That's $100 and some $1,000 per taxpaying American. When the hell did they ever care about paying down the debt? Now, all of a sudden, they want to stop Doge from giving a restitution check because it's going to be the end of them, especially when Trump points out the best is yet to come. There's more coming. So this guy from Doge says, hey, we're looking at $1 out of every five. Every $5 Doge saves, we send $1 to the taxpayer, and the other $4 we put towards the debt. And that sounds perfectly level-headed and reasonable to me. I think where the guy missed a little bit of his argument, but he kept being threatened with having his mic cut off, or, what are you going to do? You can't think of everything. But one point that he'd have done well to bring up was this is money that has already been allocated and thrown to the wind. We're trying to grab it back, claw it back. We're not suggesting like a stimulus check like 3 years ago from the illness, right? They pulled that out of thin air. This is not the case. It's not the same thing. This is money that is already earmarked for something other than the people. So no, we're not increasing the debt. We give it back to the people. A lousy $1 out of five. But no, this guy gets holier than thou. This CNN egghead got the nerve to say it's irresponsible. When they didn't get, if it wasn't for Musk and Trump, it had never seen the light of day. The conversation would have never seen the light of day. Now they're going to be all smart telling people how to do it. But that was a good way to put it, $1 out of every five. So he said, well, with a 36 trillion and 100,000 per person, 160,000 per taxpayer. And the guy said, well, you didn't care when they were shipping $7,000 to migrants. Now you're caring about 5,000 to taxpayers to give them their money back? And he said, well, you have to be reasonable here. Now, don't make me cut your mic off. I'm not that kind of person. Meet me halfway. That would have been a good time to say, oh, you want to meet halfway? Good. We'll give 50%. Halfway. You said it. You said it, not me. I said 20%. You said meet halfway. Okay, 50% to the people. How about a $12,500 check instead of $5,000? And then we'll put the other 50% toward the debt. And I've said that, Trump, he might do something like that. because they haven't factored in something. They know about it, but they won't factor this in. And Trump has mentioned it. What have they not factored in and they're terrified of? They are terrified. But I'll factor it in. Let's see if anybody gets it. No, Pat, you're right, Pappy. There, restitution of money returned that was yours, or to restore you for being damaged. Dividend is from investment in income producing program, which is what I'm saying about there should be no tax on the first and maybe even the second one either. There shouldn't be tax on any of it, Pappy Two Bears. It's all going to, there isn't going to be an IRS anymore. There isn't going to be a Federal Reserve anymore. There isn't going to be Federal Reserve notes anymore. There's going to be United States notes. And John F. Kennedy will be on some of those bills. JFK. I think he should be put on the $1,000 bill. Which should be reinstituted. I've gone over that. The $1,000 bill got taken out of circulation, I think, in 1969, along with the $500 bill. Ronald, why are you spelling that word out without altering it? Now you take that quote down, and I'm getting upset now. You know how I get. You know how I get when people have been coming to this channel for a long time do stuff like that. I just happen to be in a good mood tonight. Take it down, Ronald. Because, if I take it down, it might do the wrong thing. It's done that to me before. What are they terrified? You can't mention the word TREASON. Now take it down and quit playing dumb. You're going to get me upset. Hi, Theodosius. How you doing? Okay. It's like one person put in HANG about what, it's trust and safety doesn't allow that. So anyway, my question was, what do they not want to bring up that is going to have a tremendous impact? I said, if Trump gives out these $5,000 checks or more, they're finished. They're finished already. They're just grabbing at straws. Ronald, I think you might need a timeout. What are you doing? Let's see. I don't see anybody guessing it. They're trying to put out what they consider to be a fire, which is people getting the notion in their head that they're going to start getting money back from the government. Let me see. Give you all time to think about it. What is, that woman, that Maine governor, Janet Mills? Janet Mills, she told Trump, "I'll see you in court," when Trump said, "You better comply. You better not let men and women's sports. I'll see you in court." There's a video flying around of her in a drag show. A drag show. I might download that. Nah, I don't want to see that crap. weirdo. She's going to be gone anyway. Trump put out great news for law enforcement and American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our country, has just been named the next deputy director of the FBI by the man who will be the best ever director, Kash Patel. So Kash is the one who talked to Dan Bongino and got him on board. Dan has a master's degree in psychology from Columbia University, New York, and an MBA from Penn State. He was a member of the New York Police Department, New York's finest, a highly respected Secret Service agent, special agent with the United States Secret Service, and is now one of the most successful podcasters in the country, something he's willing and prepared to give up in order to serve. I kind of hate that. But he's got a big following, but a lot of people can pick up the slack. I mean, we have been motivating and supporting a lot of digital warriors out there. So we got to pick up the slack if you can't do both. Working with our great United States Attorney General Pam Bondi and Director Patel, fairness, justice, and law and order will be brought back to America and quickly. Congratulations, Dan. Then Trump put out very shortly after that. Another aspect of the life of Dan Bongino is that I think is very important. He has a great wife, Paula, and two wonderful daughters who truly love their dad. What an incredible job Dan will do. So, one of the key words there is Secret Service. And I've been over it and over and over it. Secret Service in charge of money laundering, international money laundering. And this is going to prove to be the largest international money laundering scheme in human history. And I guarantee you that they have been on it for years. For years. I don't know about that, Benjamin. No. Did you get a COVID check, Benjamin? Did you get a COVID check? Or 2 or 3? I think it was, what was it? It was 2 for, well, it was 1 for 2,400. I think it was 3 checks altogether. Sleepy Joe put out one for, what did he do, 1,200? But the first one was 24. I'm not. It was 3 checks, I think, altogether. But if you, you did, Benjamin. Well, then you get. Okay, so it was 2 checks. Ronald never got a dime. You had to go on. The White House had a website that you went on, and you put in your driver's license number, your address. Answered a few questions, social security number. Ms. Mendelsohn only got 1. Was it under Joe Biden or was it under Trump? Was it the first one Trump did? Benjamin got 3. I think it was 3. I don't remember. Oh, Ronald, are you in Canada? Is that why you're in Canada? Miss Minister got Trump's first one. KNS only got 1. Did you? Oh, okay. Theodosi says 600 plus 400 Biden. Ronald, you're in Texas. Well, I don't understand why you didn't get one. Are you on the lam? Could that be it? I don't know. Just asking. Now, are they going to blame this on Trump national transportation issue? Did you all hear that? I guess it was a couple of hours ago. Hi, Billy. You never got a stimulus check either. Well, you have to find out which website to go on. They will put up a thing for people to register. But a couple of hours, I guess about 3 or 4 hours ago, a ferry, let's see, in Staten Island, capsized. 3 people lost their lives and 2 were injured off the coast of Staten Island in New York on Sunday, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. Officials said search and rescue mission is underway as another person remains missing in the water from the incident. Oh, that's not good. One of the individuals who was injured is in critical condition. The other is stable. So, I mean, the water, be lucky if it's over 40 degrees right now, in probably 43 or 4 degrees. You don't have a lot of time. Don't have a lot of time there, but it's a wonder. Well, I said it's a wonder they're not blaming Trump. Well, it just happened. Give them time. They'll. Let's see. Okay, and I said it was 3 checks. I thought it was 3. Yeah, the picture, it was a ferry. The picture I saw just shows a Coast Guard boat. It doesn't show the, that could have been a car carrying and people. I'm sure it carried vehicles. So they'll probably come up with some pictures if they haven't already. Oh, I thought they sent the checks out whether you were working or not, KNS. It was just assistance to stimulate the economy. Trump put out yesterday, he put out in all capital letters, MSNBC, commonly known as MSDNC, is a threat to our democracy. Such lying and misrepresentation. Bad people at the top. The next day, Joy Reid loses her job. The next day, and don't forget, Trump also brought up Rachel Maddow the same day at an address, and he brought up MSDNC. So he probably knew it was coming. They probably knew they had to do something. Because don't forget, we're under a state of emergency. I still maintain that just like Trump said, just like Mike Johnson said. Mike Johnson said, I'm a wartime speaker. Trump said, I'm a wartime president. I think we're at war. And just like he said about turning the water on California, I did it the rough way. I didn't want to get rough. They made me get rough. I like to do it the easy way. but I will get rough. And what he is talking about, getting rough, was sending the military down to cut the water on, because he warned them and he warned them for 2 weeks. By the end of the second week, whoever was standing in the doorway, whoever was blocking the way, got their rear ends moved, and the military went in there and cut the water on. You didn't hear a peep out of Newsom. You didn't hear a peep out of any crazy Democrat environmentalists talking about the smelt. You didn't hear nothing. And you still haven't heard nothing from Newscom. I got an article about somebody bringing up the billions of dollars that went to this railway situation in California. That's going to be criminally investigated. Watch what I say. And this withholding water from half a state is going to be investigated criminally. So I think MSNBC was told if they didn't do something, things were going to get rough, because a president's powers are greatly expanded under a state of emergency, which Trump declared, on top of existing states of emergency. But more so than that, when we're at war, the president's powers are at their apex. So they were told things are going to get rough. And Tom Homan gave a speech at CPAC, and I downloaded the first part of it. It's only like a minute or so. I liked it because he said, you know, if I offend anybody with my words today, I don't give it. And he said SH, and that's it. So word is, plus I also read it on one of Trump's posts, he wants people to start turning up the heat. And I think he's given Tom Homan a thumbs up on turning up the heat. And that's going to go for the FBI and for Border Patrol. And also governors like this one in whoever that one was, in Maine or whatever, that doesn't want to comply. They want to try to pull a George Wallace, resisting the presidential orders. So anyway, here it is. Tom Homan said, look, let me start off by saying this. If I offend anybody today, I don't give a SH, and that's it. Here it is. Sean Duffy. Sean Duffy said the Panama Canal took 10 years to build. Wait, I want to bring up about the canal. Trump mentioned that again, along with a great many other things. He mentioned the Panama Canal. It was the most expensive civil engineering project in history. Of course, we don't know how much it costs to build a Great Wall of China, but he said about 1.5 trillion in today's dollars. He's also brought up in the past that money didn't come from taxpayers, right? I got to finish my weave. That canal was built by Teddy Roosevelt from the money that was brought in by tariffs by President McKinley. They had more money than they knew what to do with, and part of that money was used to build the Panama Canal, which greatly expanded trade, greatly accelerated economic development and movement and growth. So it was the most expensive thing, but it was the most profitable, without a dime coming out of people's pockets. That's what I was saying. What is the other thing that the DNC, the cabal, and mainstream media do not want people to think about? Not only Doge savings, but the income from tariffs. I heard somebody saying, I think it was Asmongold, we'll never pay down to 36 trillion. We'll never do that. That's impossible. It's too much money. Well, here in 30 days, they identified almost 2 trillion. Not taking into account money from tariffs. They're not taking into account the fact that there's somewhere between 60 million and 100 million entities that are receiving Social Security benefits that should not be. Not taking into account what Trump hinted at with the treasuries. One of the big sticking points that these whack job judges have done is prevented Doge from getting into Treasury Department records. That is going to fall probably this week. Trump said we might not have as much debt as we think because there's something off about those treasuries. Was somebody putting out fraudulent treasury certificates in the billions or hundreds of billions over time, or trillions? So between the Social Security saving, imagine this, folks. Well, just to finish up my weave, what is the people like that creep I was talking about cutting off the guy's mic? The new CNN creep. His marching orders are to get people to stop thinking about a $5,000 check. And if they do think about it, they have to think about it like it being irresponsible to take a $5,000 check, which ain't going to work. The other thing they don't want people to think about or learn about is income from tariffs, dividend checks, restitution checks, and dividend checks. What if we get 20% of a dividend for tariffs collected and the other 80% go to the debt, just like the formula Trump is thinking about with restitution checks? That will be the end of the cabal, end of the deep state. I don't want to just say Democratic Party because it's way more than the Democratic Party. That is just a tool they have hijacked. So, back to this statement. The Panama Canal took 10 years. See how I did that weave? Golden Gate Bridge took 4 years. An engineering marvel. Hoover Dam, 5 years. Watch a video on Hoover Dam. NPC show replayed one that's fascinating. China builds high-speed rail in 2 to 3 years. In Gavin Newsom's California? Question mark. Get a load of this, folks. Over $16 billion in 16 years Not one track laid, just a couple of bridges to nowhere. California protesters are mad that I'm calling for an investigation. They're probably state and federal workers or people who get gift cards from NGOs and pre-printed signs. Like Elon Musk said, I catch some things he says that doesn't go out. People don't think it's a big deal. He said, you would think they were over 50% of the population, but they take the camera and they zoom them in on just a small group. Did you hear him say that? How many times have I pointed that out? They'll have 5 or 6 people in front of the Supreme Court or somewhere protesting. They'll have the camera so close and the signs blocking off behind them. You would think there's 1,000 people there. How many of you caught what else Musk talked about? He brought it up, and the media treated it like what it is, a hot potato. It was about Ukraine. It was about Zelensky. See if anybody gets it. And I've talked about it multiple times in the past. I've done 3 videos on it. It's in my video library on Bumble. If you go to Bumble, I've got probably 1,000 videos. And the thumbnail has the picture and the name. All right, Jerry, have a good night. And it is a serious issue. A very, very serious issue. And I'm sure it's something Donald Trump is very much in tune with. Excuse me while I have a sip of my coffee. I talked about it and I said that a certain news organization needed to be in very hot water over it, that they were culpable in my opinion. And I'm sure that U.S. aid money or other NGOs and governmental organizations were part of it. And don't forget, folks, to give me a thumbs up. I forgot to say it through the whole video. I hope you all give me a thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment if you're watching the video after the live stream. I appreciate it. Helps the video get around. He said Zelensky was complicit and involved in something that I said was a sleeper story that I did 3 years ago. And I brought up again about 6 months ago. Outrageous. Well, I'll get back to it, give you all a minute to think about it. It has to do with an American citizen, Zelensky being complicit. Trump tells CPAC he's going to Fort Knox with Elon Musk to search for their gold. Breaking, Donald Trump says, we're going to Fort Knox. I'm going to go with Elon, Trump said. I wonder if they're going to do a show on it like Geraldo opening up Al Capone's safe. Take Geraldo with you. Take Geraldo Rivera, like opening Al Capone's safe. The White House official Twitter or X put out, quote, "We achieved the great liberation of America. We are liberating our country right now," unquote. President Donald J. Trump said at CPAC. Yeah, and we're just starting. Trump cancels deportation protections for 500,000 Haitian nationals. Trump has canceled a temporary protected status designation for 500,000 Haitian migrants, representing a rollback of the Biden era Department of Homeland Security that was used to game the immigration system. And I'm looking at a meme that says, Doge opened the vault at Fort Knox, and what they have, guess what they have behind the door at Fort Knox? Todd. Oh, David DeGeorge got it too. Yeah, David got it first. Let's see if anybody else got it. Yeah, David got it. And then Todd got it. Gonzalo Lira. I swear, Elon, you can check his Twitter feed or X feed. He came out and said Zelensky was complicit in the, I'll say the word one time, murder of Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill. And, to protect myself from what I was saying, I'm saying some strong things. A so-called reporter, so-called female, which is actually a hairy-legged boy that fancies himself a female, is a reporter over there, and I played their videos before, put Gonzalo Lira on blast, working with the Daily Beast. They started off by saying he was a misogynist because he did videos telling young men how to behave on a date. He used to be called Coach Red Pill. And he would tell guys how to dress, how to act. If a lady treats you this way, she might not be a lady. And, how to protect your emotions, protect your wallet, and whatever. So that made him enemy number one. But they claimed also that he was a Russian agent. And he ended up getting picked up by the SBU enforcement arm, basically the secret police for Ukraine, a group called the Kraken Unit. And I showed pictures of their chevrons on their uniforms that say Kraken. And they had him locked up for a while, scared the hell out of him. They have a history of people going into their custody and coming back in a coffin or disappearing altogether. He got let go, but about 6 months ago, they put their sights on him again. And he got picked up and he died in prison from neglect, is what I believe. They say he got a flu or pneumonia, and he wasn't that good a shape anyway. Hey, he was a young man. I believe he was in his mid-50s. I'm not sure of his exact age. He was an American citizen out of California. He couldn't leave Ukraine. He was kept there as I consider to be a pseudo hostage. A pseudo hostage. And right around the time they were denied permission to launch Storm Shadow, which I was going to do a story on, and I backed out of it because It just wasn't the best time for it. And other long-range missiles. Okay, I think they did it to put pressure on the administration to allow them to use weapons that would be a violation of NATO treaties with Russia. Yeah, Ronald. Yeah, I played some of his videos. I think I still have some in my library. I don't want to erase them. So he's no longer with us, and I don't think they even returned his father. I believe his father is still alive. We're going to hear more of that. But anyway, when they cracked this meme said they cracked open the doors at Fort Knox, and what they have is a picture of shelves and shelves and shelves full of eggs, But I believe that's another psyop. So remember, I showed that video. Most of you in the chats will remember the luckiest man in Iran was the guy who was getting on a moped, and that ground-piercing missile came and penetrated, and you saw a secondary explosion about a second after it pierced through the asphalt. I mean, what was it? Maybe 20 feet away from the moped. And the moped didn't even fall over. It just got heaved up in the air with the guy sitting on it. And he took off and ran away. And then the secondary explosion way underground. They said 17 stories. Boom! Blew up that guy named Nasrallah, right? And then the guy came out and got on the moped and took off like a cut hyena. I called him the luckiest man in Iran. But anyway, Nasrallah, they buried him today. I thought they had to bury him real quick. But I guess when you got to scrape him up, they give you more time. But while they were doing a funeral procession, Israel flew jets over top of the procession. They executed a flyover of the terrorist Nasrallah's funeral in a show of force. And Netanyahu said, we're ready to go in anytime. They're ready to go in and open the gates of hell because they've gotten some more hostages back, and some are still with us and some of them are not. And what they're saying is, since they know that the Israelis will do forensic tests to be 100% certain through DNA and other methods to make sure that they're actually given over to the people that they say they are. That what they're finding these people went through is horrific, outrageous, infuriating. And so they better watch themselves. Who is this idiot? They got MSNBC. They got some dope on there, but as I guess a replacement for Jake Crap or somebody different from that one I mentioned earlier. And he had a guest on that was Biden's deputy press secretary. His name is Andrew Bates. And he had the nerve to insinuate that Trump isn't in charge. They have so few credible, not even credible, partially, just things they can try to make credible. It makes them look ridiculous. Wait a minute. He says, is Trump really in charge? So they're pushing this crap of Elon being the real president. I don't know if he has the energy to do his job. Talking about Trump, I don't know if he has the energy to do this job, but maybe that's why he's basically letting Elon Musk be acting president. What a horse's ass. Just this weekend, Trump has spoken more words and engaged more with the public and the press than Biden did just this weekend, than Biden did over his whole flipping administration. He got shot in the ear and jumped back up and said, fight, fight, fight. What the hell is he talking about energy? Boy, I wish I was a guest on those shows. Well, yeah, they cut my mic off and they'd never have it. I'd do a Facebook reel. I'd get on there. Enrico Tarrio, he's the guy that threw that cell phone and got himself arrested. He's a member of Proud Boys. He ran into that nitwit. I played the video of this guy saying he wanted Trump to have a stroke and live forever. This is a guy who claims to be a former Capitol Police officer. His name is Harry Dunn and Michael Fanone. Michael Fanone is the guy who said, I want Trump to have a stroke and live forever. And I think Trump needs to be arrested. He's a traitor. And I showed pictures of Michael Fanone walking around the Capitol in civilian clothes, carrying a rebel flag, okay, the stars and bars, acting like he was a insurrectionist, riling up the crowd. And he got into a back and forth with this Enrique Tarrio. And of course, he hollering out Tarrio was a traitor. And Tarrio called him a gutless wonder or whatever he called him. Some guy named Razor put on Twitter, Dear Elon, my 5 bullets of what I did this week. Number 1, mastered the art of appearing busy without actually doing any work. Number 2, gained an intense fascination with the ceiling tile patterns above my desk. Wow, that's only 2? What else did you do? Number 3, honed skill of smiling politely while internally plotting your downfall. 4, achieved master level status in pretending to be reachable by email or phone. 5, perfected trait of looking like I'm working hard when really just browsing social media. Now, give me my raise. Signed, federal worker. So many of them have no direction, no desire, no squat. KNS said, hey, you might be a minute behind, KNS, because I do have it enabled where people can rewind the video, and they might be a little back in the chat. Before I said it, Megyn Kelly dances on Joy Reid's grave. Megyn Kelly said, remember when Joy Reid laughingly mocked, quote, white women in tears as pathetic and offensive to her? Who's crying now, Joy? Good riddance to the absolute worst person on television, and shame on NBC for letting it go on this long. Yeah, now who is the next one in line as the absolute worst person on NBC? Now that Joy Reid, is Joy Reid going to do a farewell broadcast tomorrow? What's your all's bet? And if you're watching the video after the live stream, put in the comments what you think. She was supposed to do 1 or 2 broadcasts after she was told they were ending her show. You think she's going to do it? Or you think she's going to roach out? That's a new term. It's not a new term, but for an old fart like me, it's a new term. We used to just call it crap out. Is she going to crap out? No. Is she going to roach out and not even show up for her last broadcast with some kind of, and I mean, what in the world are they going to review what she's going to say and approve it? Or if she does show up, is she going to say something so offensive and outlandish? I don't think she will, because she won't have legal protection. So is her ego so huge? That's the thing. Man, I can see her being either way. I can see her, I'm not gonna do it, and then putting something outrageous on social media, Blue Sky, where they go to cry, where nobody goes anyway, except like-minded lunatics like Luke Skywalker, or whatever his name is, Mark Hamill. But then again, they love drama. Is she going to go on there and weep and tell everybody how much she loves and appreciates them and how wrong she'd been done? Oh, Justin Bean said it'd be the largest views show if she does. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, people. Hey, they say stick a pig and watch them squeal. People are going to want to see that pig squeal. So I don't know. We'll see. But she's probably too cowardly. I mean, people like that are a coward, especially when they get their chops smacked. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait and see the people that critique her. Trump put out, looks like the Conservative Party in Germany has won the very big and highly anticipated election. Much like the USA, the people of Germany got tired of the no common sense agenda, especially on energy and immigration, that has prevailed for so many years. This is a great day for Germany and for the United States of America under the leadership of a gentleman named Donald J. Trump. Congratulations. Many more victories to follow. That's the same way of saying the best is yet to come. So he put that out today. Oh, they're going to be shaking in their boots in the EU. The Klaus Schwabs and all these types. Gosh, Trump put out a huge tweet about this guy, wrote a book about him. But anyway, I might read them tomorrow. Conservative brief. Speaking of Ilhan Omar, she wants Sharia law and she married a brother. She put out, it says, Conservative brief put out, quote, idiots. Dem squad member Representative Ilhan Omar puts down Americans as being, quote, stupid. Quote, I'm at the point where it becomes really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because of the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day. It is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. So that's what Democrats think of us. We're really stupid. And you know what? I'd say the way people were thinking 4 years ago, she was right. But guess what? We've wised up. Viktor Orban, what did he say? He put out a thing where he is going to scrap taxes. Viktor Orban, Hungary's president, Trump always speaks highly of. He's going to scrap taxes for women that have 2 or more children. Well, that's a pretty good idea. Their birth rates have collapsed. Conservatives will break through the empire's battlements, Orban said, and he will scrap taxes for mothers with 2 or more children and enshrine, quote, 2 genders in the Constitution. Well, that's wonderful, but it's just a sad day in human history. When that's found to be necessary for any country to have to put that in a damn constitution. Oh, your daddy was in the C.I.A. So anyway, so there. Think of how many other leaders are going to be thinking the same way as Viktor Orban. I was thinking about downloading that video of James Carville and his tactics he uses when talking on shows like Sean Hannity. When he said, yeah, you give people $1,000. Big deal. What's $1,000? Trump's got the low approval ratings. What a creep. Olaf Scholz admitted defeat in the elections, calling the result bitter for the Social Democrats. Ha, ha, ha. Good. So here's something people are talking about, but not top posters. Hi, Cola. How you doing? Roland, how you doing? You got roses for the ladies. Ha, ha, ha. But here's something people are talking about. We'll see if it gets picked up later on. An update on the California fires. We talked about this a little bit. James O'Keefe has the recording of California fires Mayor Bass, Miss Bass Ackwards, insinuating she was aware of the fires coming soon and she planned to be away when it was going to happen. Many of you may have heard that leaked phone call. In the leaked phone call, she said, LA Mayor Karen Bass preemptively defended her Ghana trip despite local catastrophe. Quote, I'm missing 2 work days. That's it. Unquote. Dropped cryptic warnings days before LA fires. Quote, read in between the lines. Hold tight. You will understand soon. Unquote. So she was intimating that something big was coming and she wanted to be the hell out of town when it happened. A forewarning, she knew something was going to happen. And that ties into what in the hell is she doing in Ghana? What was that goofball mayor or councilman I showed you where the woman said, you took your black behind to Ghana for 21 days. He got run out of office. I think they found a picture of him smoking a crack pipe on top of that. But anyway, you had him going to I think he went to Ghana too. and Karen Bass Ackwards went to Ghana. Then you had the teachers union leader went to Ukraine. What the hell was she doing to Ukraine? And you had Stacey Abrams going to Niger. It was either Niger or Nigeria to be involved in the elections over there. What are all these foreign visits at state level? When I say state, I mean a independent state, not a state of the union. I'm talking about a foreign state going over there on taxpayer dimes, being involved in other countries' foreign affairs. Who's paying for that crap? Well, we're paying for all of it. But I mean, who is behind this crap, and what's the purpose of them going around piddling around in the foreign affairs of other countries? And I'm sure there's more than that. That's just what I can think of off the top of my head of Dimblewits going over to foreign countries. Let's see. Well, the deal is with you, Crystal, that they are going to agree to that deal Trump put about their rare earth minerals, and Zelensky's just folding like a cheap chair. He, he could be a really, really deep operative for the right side. I don't know, and how is he going to get out of this situation alive? His own people are going to be his own opposition. His deep state is going to be wanting his head, and Elon Musk is alluding to his involvement in the loss of life of an American citizen. Yeah, John Kerry going over there too, Debbie. That's right. Got video of him going over there meeting with members of the Muslim and then Brotherhood. Yeah, Ronald, we talked about that earlier. Matt Gaetz being put in charge of Biden's laptop. Yeah, Woody Harrelson. Yeah, he said something. Todd, where is it? Woody Harrelson was on Sky News Australia. And if you want to watch the video, go to Sky News Australia and you'll see a picture of Dr. Fauci's face. And it says Evil Fauci. And then the title of the video is Extraordinary Evil S***T. Extraordinarily Evil It. Woody Harrelson slams Anthony Fauci. So now you've got the conservative guard of Hollywood coming out and dropping a dime on people like Fauci. Okay, so plus all the other things that are going on. So anyway, the ball's rolling. We're going to keep the momentum up. I had no idea I've gone almost 2 hours. I thought it was about an hour and a half. But it's so much happening. So anyway, folks, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. Please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, why not? And also, I have a link in the description for buy me a coffee. And I want to thank Mike and Bev for helping sponsor last program. Was Friday night's program, and also Norm chipped in for Friday night's program. So anyway, I appreciate everybody that's helped out, and tomorrow is another day. Yeah, it's a lot to talk about, Miss Mindersue. We're got a lot more to talk about. Things are moving fast. But does Donald Trump have the energy to keep up, like CNN says? I might, part of what I do, I might download some of, there's 2 videos I want to go over and comment on. James Carville, he had hissy fits on liberal shows where he was showing just how decrepit and defeated they are, angry, foul-mouthed. But he gets on Hannity's program. He tries to act like he's in control, and the Republicans just don't really know it, that they're losing. They're going to lose the midterms. That and the one where the Doge representative was going to get his mic cut off, and this idiot was telling people that they shouldn't get $5,000 checks because it wouldn't be right. We should pay down the deficit if you're a good American. Like they ever gave a damn. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's a little bit of a production job to do that kind of stuff, but maybe I can do it. If I got enough internet oomph, I got to have enough data to be able to get through the mountaintops and bam, hit my viewers with the words I'm trying to say. So anyway, folks, Ronald said, who got fired before Stephanopoulos? Oh, you talking about Carville? Yeah, Carville was the head creep of the Clinton. He came up with the Clinton saying, it's the economy, stupid. So anyway, yeah. He's a legendary creep, and I guarantee you, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. But anyway, folks, once again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. And I should be going live tomorrow night if everything goes well. And I appreciate somebody made a message in the comments that I was like clockwork. I didn't think I was like clockwork, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, and I hope to see you all then. So you all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.